What's that? Rinko? God dang it. Rinko. Erika? No one wants to talk about it, but it's all that's on anyone's minds these days. Mysterious things are happening all around Shibuya. Sightings, attacks, disappearances, fear. How is a kid supposed to be a kid in a time like this? But honestly, Ryota never really was like most kids. He's not usually glued to his phone all day. Kirigoga vanishing. Ryota's concerns bring him to a mysterious case file posted online. It's titled The Kirigoga Vanishing. I thought it was Kirigoga. He reads it to himself, but the best he can. Having tracked down another report of dark fog to the area, I arrived to find it has passed, leaving dreary rain hanging over the neighborhood. At the scene, all we found were the clothes of a mother and a son left behind like two molted cicada shells. It's hard to even imagine a parent and her child just gone. Precious lives snuffed out forever. My heart sank knowing that I had failed to protect them. It was the worst feeling I had ever felt, as in, on cue, the rain started pouring down heavier and heavier it felt with each passing minute, but I couldn't be bothered to take out my umbrella. That's when the obvious culprits returned to the scene of the crime. A group of monsters. They had umbrellas of their own, as if rain followed them wherever they go. I was furious. I brought hell down upon them at that very moment. They tried to protect themselves with the umbrellas, but I just kept pounding on them until they were battered and broken. I was so exhausted I could have fallen over at any moment, but my utter wrath kept me going. As I picked up to leave, I still refused to open my own umbrella. I just walked away, rain pouring and soaking me to the bone. KK. Marinauchi vanishing. Unable to shake the idea that the monsters are all around him, Ryota navigates to his phone, on his phone to a document called the Marinauchi Vanishing. The language is complicated, but he works to understand it. It says, I got a tip on a missing woman from Marinauchi. When you've been a detective as long as I have, you tend to build up a big network of contacts. The story my contact told me was that they saw a woman one day when the fog rolled in. It blanketed the area, and then poof, she was gone. Times like these make me wish a certain somebody was around. Come to think of it, the fog and these disappearances set the scene for when I first met the rest of my crew. Everybody kept talking about folks just up and disappearing, and I thought it was a load of horse shit. Wasn't till I met them and until my encounter that I believed. Ever since then, I've been haunted by what I would have once called hallucinations. Turns out being able to see spirits and monsters isn't a fantasy movie nonsense after all. Guess I should be thankful, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen through that monster taking the form of the woman. She made a bunch of red orbs appear that chased me around, but I knew so long as I didn't let myself get surrounded, I'd be okay. She was a nightmare to look at, so I put her out of her misery. When I searched the scene, I spotted the woman's handbag, found the missing lady's ID cards in there. Then I came across some clothes that looked like they would have been hers. They were in a little pile, but the way they had fallen made it clear that the body had just vanished. No mistaking whose handiwork this was either. I'd finally managed to get my hands on solid enough lead to work with. KK. The bathroom vanishing. Could monsters really live among us? These case files say that yes, they absolutely can and do. According to this one, a lady called me out about a missing person who vanished from the bathroom of her apartment. Usually I'd brush it off as another runaway, but after seeing the crows circling above the apartment, I had a feeling there'd be more to this. The black stains on the front door verified my hunch. It turns out that I'm the only one that can see these black stains. The lady who lived there and showed me in made no signs of noticing it. She showed me the bathtub and gave me a play-by-play of what happened. Her boyfriend was taking a bath longer than usual, so she went to the bathroom to check on him. When she opened the door, her boyfriend was gone, and for a short instant, there was a reflection of an old shrine on the surface of the bathwater. I rubbed my finger on the rim of the bathtub, and there was a transparent, sticky slime-like substance on it. A reflection of the shrine shone on the water's surface. I'll need to talk further with my team about this incident to see if these things ring any bells. I purged the black stain from the front door and left the scene. Poor lady. What will she do now? What can any of us do? KK. In these posts, the kid had found something, or rather, someone called KK has been looking into monsters in this part of town, a believer just like Ryota. Social media would never lie, and that means KK is an expert. Maybe the expert in all things paranormal. There's only one thing left to do. Having pored over every story, post, and grainy photo about local monsters he could find, Ryota prepares to take action. I'm going to ask this KK guy to help. Just got to figure out where he lives first. Let's Google it. There's Ghostwire Tokyo. Contact. Dear Mr. Investigator Person. Dear Mr. Investigator Person. Hello. How are you? I am not good, and I need your help. Monsters got my best friend Sosuke. Rinko sits up in her chair. She zeroed in on one of a dozen monitors across a makeshift command center stuffed into this cramped Tokyo apartment. Sounds like my office. It happened near the manhole. Please help me get him back. Data flies across the screen, seemingly too much. Charts and graphs, maps and mathematical equations, even social media feeds and open cases. Somehow through all of those screens and all of that clutter, Ryota's message catches Rinko's eyes. Sounds desperate, but it could just be some bored kid trolling us. Calm and confident, Rinko insists on balancing compassion and skepticism in her analytic approach. On the other hand, the manhole is within the vicinity of several recent incidents. Maybe he is involved. She knows what she thinks, but she also knows no one can protect Tokyo all by themselves. Trusting your teammates is the only way to keep everyone safe. What do you make of it, Ed? Ed squints and takes a single deep breath as he turns to the screen. He has something to say, but holds it back. Technology is easy. People are hard. Instead of speaking up, he places a small recorder on his desk. He presses play, and as the audio begins to roll, Ed turns and walks away. I've heard intriguing stories about so-called manhole girls in Japan, vengeful ghosts of the bullied students said to trick other children into following them into the sewer, from where they never return. And if any information turns up about such anomalies, I'd be keen to investigate. Though I speak purely out of the personal interest, it might not be enough to make the rest of my team pursue it without further evidence. Okay, safe to say you somehow found the time to record something this specific about a single urban legend that you want to look into. That's pretty great. Ed is already engrossed in other work. He doesn't respond. He certainly doesn't notice when Rinko rolls her eyes. He rarely does. Probably best we have no idea how you spend your free time, huh, Ed? Annika's been sitting next to Rinko the entire time, listening and waiting for the right time to chime in. That time is, want me to check it out? I don't think so, Erica. Could be dangerous. What if something happens to you? Seriously? You still don't trust me to go out by myself for 5 minutes in the middle of the day? At just 16 years old, Rinko might be right not to trust Erica on something dangerous. But Rinko knows that Erica has shown maturity beyond her years. She gives Erica an almost sisterly look of skepticism. You know that's not it. Rinko quickly turns back to her monitors and away from Erica. But for all her maturity, Erica can't quite keep from pouting. Stop making that face. Besides, we've got our very own private detective in the vicinity already. I'll have him take a look. The stall is brimming as a wide array of customers eat in relative silence. The only sound they make is the slurping of the noodles. The silence breaks when a phone begins to vibrate upon the countertop. The owner ignores it, choosing to focus on his meal instead. The phone doesn't care about his hunger and continues to vibrate. The phone wins. The peace and solitude have been shattered. There's no way to enjoy the noodles now. God damn it. The silent diner finally glances on the screen. He begins to mutter to himself. Another case. These people have me working harder than my enemies ever did. Can't even get 5 minutes to enjoy a nice quiet lunch. We have to answer. Let me guess, I'll be risking life and limb? That's why you let it ring for so long? Too scared to pick up? Ha! You know the exact day I stopped being scared of anything. The day you stopped being a loner and hooked up with us so we could have your back. Sure, that works. Besides, I'm not full enough to pretend this team isn't half okay. If you need backup, you know I'll be there. No questions asked. I actually already volunteered, but right now there's nothing dangerous to be worried about. It's a simple check-in on a report of some suspicious activity that might be connected to these phenomena where we've been looking into. It's always the simple cases that go south the fastest. You know what? You're right. Maybe Erica should run point on this one. Sure, she's just a kid, but you're too busy. Whoa, hold up. There's no need to sacrifice the rookie to make me look bad. I'm already out. Send me the info and I'll get on it. First, though, I need to talk to one of you about something. Let's talk to Rinko. Hey, Rinko. Let me guess. Pissed I interrupted your precious solitary soba time, guy? Irked, not pissed. I was almost done. God forbid the report of a vengeful spirit abducting children interrupt that same bowl of noodles you've had 1,000 times. Not much left in the world I love. When I think of something else, I'll tell you. You won't have a chance to add to that list if we don't figure this out. We both know how powerful the forces we're dealing with really are. We have to keep pulling these threads until we've unraveled the whole damn thing. There's no thread too small. Guess I can't argue with that.
Yes.
I know I can rely on you. It might be the only thing I know for certain. Now go prove how smart I am, dumbass. It's the job I was born to do. Ryota doesn't notice the people passing on him on the street. They don't notice him either. He is young, but he is very much alone. His focus is centered on a small bit of paper in his hands. After a couple folds, the paper finds a familiar configuration. With a head, arms, and a body, it takes shape. A palm-sized person stands in his hand. As Ryota inspects his creation, someone has been observing him from afar, steps out of the shadows. What do you got there? Ryota looks up. He's nervous, but clutches the paper doll in his hand to stay brave. He's not running or hiding, despite the gruff stranger staring at him. No need to be afraid. I'm not here to do anything bad to you or your little friend. Gotta admit, I have been known to carry odd paper doll with me on investigations. Strange habit, I know. But you get the benefits of a partner without any of the annoying small talk. Ryota's shoulders ease. He lets his guard down and he listens to the detective and re-examines the folded paper. The detective surprises himself with his playful tone. He's rusty, but somehow still feels comfortable talking to this scared kid. Sometimes paper dolls are used for magical purposes. You a sorcerer by chance? Now's the time to tell me. So you really are him, huh? Gonna have to be more specific, kid. You're KK, the ghost hunter from the files. You must be. I just thought you'd be taller. They say you solve strange mysteries, right? KK? Maybe. The detective looks closely at Ryota's phone. He sees the social media posts featuring photos of various case files he has worked on, collected in one place. Look, I only use those initials because writing my name out is a pain in the ass, and I got too much pain already. Not your problem, right? Anyhow, that's me, KK. But I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm just a detective. KK's demeanor hardens a bit, dropping the playfulness. You wanted an investigator, kid. Well, you got one. I'm so glad you're going to look into the disappearance at the manhole. Here's the thing, kid. I already did. Made some calls on the way here. There's no record of any recent disappearances. Still got a few friends on the force, so I can dig up dirt quick. KK shoots Ryota a serious look. Not trying to pull a fast one on me, are you, kid? It's true. Honest. My buddy Sosuke disappeared. He hasn't come home since yesterday. Last place I saw him was right back there. Ryota motions to the alleyway behind him. He went down that way. I tried to follow, but I couldn't find him. He was completely gone. If Ryota is bluffing, he's an incredible liar. The sadness comes over him, and when he looks back towards the alley, KK looks back and forth from the kid to the alleyway behind him. All alleys are dark, but this one looks like it's never seen daylight. Seen any fog when that happened? The moment he disappeared? Now that you mention it, there has been something spooky, like a kind of fog or darkness, but it came and then it went. All right. KK mutters something to himself as he eyeballs the alleyway behind Ryota. Nothing looks immediately out of place. With so much going down in the city, some kid getting lost doesn't exactly seem like front page news. So we can press for more info. We can call the kid's bluff. I don't think he's bluffing. I need more to go on, kid. Why are you so convinced he's taken? Didn't happen to anyone else around here. But it did happen to my best friend. Sosuke's been missing for 2 full days. Everyone's been looking, but no one can find him. What about his parents? Have they filed a police report? I'm the only one who really cares about Sosuke. I know he needs me. And no one else is even looking for him anymore. Just me. He's lucky to have you, kid. It's like when you saw crows circling above the building in one of those cases you investigated. You knew there was more to it than everyone else. Well, Mr. KK, I know there's more to Sosuke's disappearance. I just need your help. Really did your homework, huh? I'm impressed. You're more dedicated than most adults I know. You remind me of my friend, Erica. She lost someone too, and she'll never stop fighting for them either. KK takes another glance at the alley. All right, show me exactly where this Sosuke pal of yours disappeared. Ryota perks up. So you're going to look into it? I'm here, ain't I? Let me check in with my team and see if they figured anything out. Could save us some time. KK reaches for his phone. What's up? We're all here. I just need a quick word with one of you to follow up on that kid, on what that kid has told me. I think we'll talk to Erica. She relates. Erica, you're a natural when it comes to intuition. What does your gut tell you? I can feel something out there for sure. Something that threatens good people. Something that he would embrace. Who is this he? The details aren't clear. I can only see the shadows of a vision, but that's not important. I know it's him. I know we need to act right now. Nothing else matters. We can't let another child disappear, another family get torn apart. You need to help him. There's still time. You know, kid, you're stronger than you have any right to be, and you've got the scars to prove it. If we don't look out for our people like Ryota and Sosuke, who will? This is our mission. Ryota, it's time to find Sosuke. Nothing looks out of place here, but things are rarely what they seem. KK slowly, deliberately reaches out his hand. He's not holding on to anything, but you would think that he was by the way he was moving, like he's got something invisible dangling from his fingertips. Ryota has no clue what he's trying to do, but he watches closely. However, what happens next can only be seen by KK's eyes. As KK opens his fingers, a sparkling orb of energy drops from his hand down onto the ground. It ripples like water in a still pond, energy flowing outward into the world. A strange trail floats into view, as though a spirit has passed through this place. Psychic energy. The trail leads further on, deeper into the alley, out of view. Guess he went that way. Puzzled, Ryota follows KK's eye lines down the alley, but sees nothing out of the ordinary. What happened? I don't see anything. Trust me, kid. It's good for you. It's good you can't see it. This is a power you don't want. And you're too young for it, to take risks like that and change your life forever. The world's a scary place. It keeps getting worse. We're going to find your friend and get you back to your life. KK and Rinko are in big trouble this time, running like rats desperate to stay alive, with only a dingy old sofa between them and monsters. We better find another exit. Rinko turns to KK and sees him holding his head. He appears to be in great pain. Damn! It's happening again! Your body's reacting to the ether! As KK looks at the room, his vision begins to break in half. He tries to focus, but rather than reform, everything continues to split apart even further. Another hallucination. The world is breaking in two. That'd be crystallized ether, another form of matter. Sounds like your body has entered the final stages of affinity. From thin air, like phantoms, these horrific visitors appear, surrounding KK and Rinko. Damn, we're surrounded. Mr. KK? Are you okay? Oh, sorry, kid. My mind can be a little hard to control sometimes. You just kind of stood there for a little while. Sometimes my memories take me places. Hate to leave you alone again, but I need you to wait here while I look for your pal. Sit tight, I won't be long. A report on Rinko's computer setup flashes on the screen. Ed's monitor software has a hold of something big. The results are clear. Spiritual residue, and it's exactly as at KK's location. What is it now? We just received an alert. There was a massive surge of spiritual energy at your location. Hold off on pursuing until we are able to send support. Can't wait forever for you guys. We might have a missing child on our hands. We've got plenty of evidence. I know what I'm getting myself into. Remember, saving more lives is the only thing that matters. Erica feels it. I feel it. Hell, you don't need affinity to know that life is circling down the drain out there. Fighting back's all we've got. I want to be there and help myself, but I understand why you can't wait any longer. But just know, you're my inspiration to keep going, like you did. I mean you do. I'm not dead yet. Erica's inspiration can't get you killed if you're not careful. Oh, can get you killed if you're not careful. Passion is nothing without strategy. Good point, Rinko. It's not fair to ask us for help when you think you need us, then use your own words against us when you're too impatient. Then use our own words against us when you're too impatient to act as a team. We're in this together. KK decides to address one team member specifically to make his case. Let's talk to Ed. The hunger I have to solve this case is good as any science experiment you could conduct to get to the bottom of this. Ed, how many times have my instincts been proven right by all your high-tech gadgetry? That's not something I keep tally of. The purpose of my work isn't to prove that you're right. But it happens all the time. I'm out on the streets pressing into the darkness, trusting my instincts. I can't be waiting for you all to download a software update. I feel like you're trivializing my work quite a bit. Of course, I'm extremely thankful when I can assist you, but my primary goal as a scientist and a paranormal investigator is much greater than the individual day-to-day goals. And that's exactly my point. We all need to focus on what we do best, and what I do best is not wait around. We can all agree that you're not good at that at all. I must say I quite admire your grit, but I do not envy the stress that the city of Tokyo must place on a detective who wants to do his job. However, I would remind you, in nature of a lone wolf typically isn't alone for long. They are alone only until they find a new pack or become prey themselves. That may be factually correct, but sure as heck takes the coolness right out of it. I disagree. I can't disagree with that. Just try and act cool in the most responsible way possible. Our pack is stronger with you in it. I'll talk to you later. I'm in the middle of investigating. He never was any good at following any people's directions. That attitude of his is precisely what saved our hides on countless occasions. You don't think I realize that? Erica smiles, thinking about KK's attitude. It doesn't bother her. Damn, they're everywhere. KK's eyes dart between the two horrific figures and into some incredibly strange glowing crystals that hover nearby. As he tries to speak, KK wheezes painfully. Rinko, what would happen if someone tried to touch one of those ether crystals? Your guess is as good as mine. Might give you the power to fight back. Might just make you even more miserable. Who can say? What about him? Did it grant him strength? Rinko nods silently. After getting his answer, KK, without hesitation, stretches his hand out toward the crystals. Wait, stop! Stopping's not an option. Not for any of us. You don't know what'll happen. It could kill you. And these things won't. We're dead if we don't try something. We aren't out of options yet. You've thrown away everything to fight these monsters, same as me. There's not a goddamn thing left to lose at this point. Before Rinko can say anything else, KK reaches all the way out. KK follows a trail of psychic energy deeper into the dark Shibuya alleyway, away from the glow of familiar streetlights and vending machines. His venture into the unseen brings him to a manhole cover where the spirit residue flashes with an eerie intensity. The spot is clearly the origin point for whatever spirit is at the center of this mystery. Did they take you this way, Sosuke? KK looks around and, finding nothing, focuses his attention on this haunting manhole. The spectral vision shows KK a lot more than he thought it might, revealing a glowing specter hovering over this dark and dreary place, the spirit of a man in his 30s. A Jibakure. According to Japanese lore, this type of spirit is trapped in a physical location. Okay, Spectre, what's keeping you tied down here? The Spectre seems unable to answer him. Instead, he mutters as if distracted or perhaps completely delirious, either or, maybe both. Spectres aren't especially concerned with politeness or clarity. Neither of us is going anywhere until I get some answers. I need to know, what are you doing here, specifically at this manhole cover? Why haunt this place? I thought I was a kid, just playing around, just having fun, alone. I wanted to make sure he was safe. So just being neighborly, huh? Yeah, no, not making friends, protecting. But he wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't a kid, though, was it? There was something else, something lurking in these shadows. Did I die? I think I died. But this isn't what I expected. What was it? Monster. A monster. The specter points downwards. Underneath, huh? KK stares at the manhole as though if he looks hard enough, he'll suddenly see what lurks in the darkness beneath its cover. He doesn't have to see the specter nod to know he's right. It went that way. Before he could pull up the manhole cover and see for himself, a long shadow creeps from the edge of the alleyway. Did you find anything? Snooping around is detective business. You don't belong back here. I thought I heard you talking to someone. Who is this youngster? Only I can hear you, so don't bother. Only you can hear me? Well, sure, nobody else is even here. This is turning into a damn clown show. Kid, I need you to stay here while I go down. It's not safe for you there. Not safe. Not safe. Monster. But how do you know I'll be safe up here? My team's one call away. They get here quick if you're in danger. Weren't you just saying something about being in the middle of an investigation and too busy to talk to anyone? Funny you should mention that. I could actually use some help. I believe they call it client services. Who you calling, mister? Are they nice like you? Or nicer? Client services sounds more like babysitting to me. If you only would just wait for us to get there. We play the hand we're dealt, and juggling work and childcare has never been my strong suit. I need a little support. Rinko sighs, a long, tired sigh of a frustrated person who knows that in the end, of course, they'll help. She'll always help him, just as he will always help her. And I have to protect the candidate in mind. Perfect candidate in mind. Yeah, we're gonna go with Erica. Erica. She's the only kid I actually know and like anymore. Hey, KK, you need my help? I can be there ASAP. I do need your help, but it can't wait. My new friend, Ryota, the one who called us for help, he is a little afraid of you. No, what? No. Why would you think that? I mean, yeah, maybe a little. But no, that's not it. Although it'd be better if he did fear me, then I could do my work. Oh, yeah, you aren't really that scary. I think I get it. Let me talk to him. KK hands the phone to Ryota and motions for him to accept this call. Yes? Is this Mr. Ryota? Yes? I'm so excited that I get to speak with you. I've heard that you are quite the investigator. I need help from someone like you. What could I do to help? Well, our friend who is there with you, he actually has 2 missions. Since he is looking for your friend, maybe you could swap and look for my friend. If we share the responsibility, I am sure that we can achieve success together as a team. I suppose I could try to help you, since he's helping me. Okay, but first, can you keep a secret? It's very important and related to this mission. Yes, I'm the best at secrets, and I won't tell you how I know that, but it's true. My friend is a cat. I put a tracker on her collar that says she is nearby in the alley by your house. I miss her dearly. I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but some of my friends are animals. Your secret is safe with me. What does she look like? She is all black with 1 white spot and a few white whiskers. Her name is Monet, like the painter, and she really likes to hide. Can you look closely in between and behind all the vending machines and trash cans? Just to be safe, text me a picture of every dark corner you can find. She is very good at camouflage and easy to miss. I will find your friend. Ryota hands the phone back to KK and turns his attention to the nearest trash can. Phone out. He seems to be inspecting each side of it. Lucky for you, your new buddy is an animal lover just like me. I've given him a rescue mission to find a missing cat and send me a photo of it. But what if he exceeds? Tons of strays here. He might actually bump into one. I could always use more cat pics texted to me, and maybe he'll give it a home that it needs. It's a win-win. Now, to get down there and find your pal Sosuke. Dirty water splashes under KK's feet as he makes his way through the still darkness of Shibuya's sewers. The further he goes, the darker it gets, but not because of any change in light. No, this darkness is unnatural. In fact, it's not darkness at all. It's tangible, dense fog made of spiritual energy fills the air. Toxic paranormal waste coats the ground and plugs the drains. But the air itself is rejecting him. The corruption flows between worlds and reaches around him, blocking KK's way. How long has it been building up right below our feet? It's like this everywhere? As KK goes deeper, the Kagari only increases. There's definitely something here if there's this much corruption swirling around. Nothing I can't handle, though. Alone in the darkness, KK summons his power. And... oh boy. Cleanses the corruption, returning the sewer to its normal state. That's better, minus the stink. With the Kagari now cleared, as if they were waiting for the moment of safety, someone appears. Sosuke, is that you? The small boy avoids KK's look, turning his back and picking at something on the wet ground. Splish splash, splish splash. Hey you, kid. You okay? Can you hear me? Are you hiding from something? Take a bath, take a bath. Come on, kid. This isn't the time or the place. Answer me. I'm not trying to scare you, but you gotta work with me here. In the vast darkness of the sewer, the sound of KK's phone suddenly rings out, the tiny chime echoing back and forth around the hollow space. The small boy in the raincoat doesn't seem to notice. He must be very preoccupied. I'm close. I found Sosuke, but I'm worried. He won't... Down so far, the signal to KK's phone is barely holding on. He can only make out a few sounds and struggles to make out what the words they might be forming are. Hello? Is there anybody there? Rinko? Is that you? Ed? Etika? Who is this? Rinko, can you hear me? Are you with Ryota? Can you ask him what Sosuke was wearing? Was Sosuke wearing a yellow raincoat? The scratchy connection makes it almost impossible to understand. Sosuke. It's about Sosuke? Not. Rinko, I can't understand. Sosuke is not what? Not Sosuke. The call cuts out and the phone's going dead in KK's hand. Damn. Enough screwing around, Sosuke. Just like that, finally, as if called by his mother to come to dinner, the child responds and stands up and turns to KK with his dead, evil eyes. You're not Sosuke. You're the monster. KK raises his hand and calls forth an energy that he discovered that day long ago. And the day he found his back against the wall, reaching out and touching the ether crystal wall. Ever heard of ethereal weaving, monster? Energy surges into KK's hands, green light winding and glowing, charging around his fingertips. An increasingly bright light glows, illuminating in the tunnel. And at that moment, standing in the center of the tunnel, we can see this monster, the raincoat visitor, just in time before it to press a child's whistle into its mouth and... At a stranger's fingertips lies KK, now a prisoner. I need my subject to remain calm, or else nothing will get done. Despite being captive, KK flashes the stranger a fierce glare. You son of a bitch. Hello, my new friend. I'm keen to see how useful your vessel turns out to be. The stranger takes out something and holds it in his hand. An amulet. Though clearly not simply for decoration, it surges with power. He looks from the amulet and turns back to KK and smiles. As the monstrous little raincoat visitor blows his whistle, he steps back into the shadowy darkness. Running away, huh? But he's not running away at all. In fact, he's only making space. It's Slender Man. For two much larger, far more horrifying visitors to show up and challenge KK. I've been waiting to run into you again. Let's go, you bastards. A talisman that stops visitors from moving. It will be consumed on use. Damaged a single visitor with a wind attack. Visitors perish after 2 hits. Defensive barrier. Let's hold him in place. The umbrella visitors are frozen in place. Only 1 stun talisman left. Let's attack. One umbrella visitor is injured. The umbrella visitor awakens from the stun. We attack again. One umbrella visitor is injured and taken out. Let's use that talisman again. We stun him in place. We have no more stuns. Let's go for an attack. He awakens from his stun. Quickly, while he's stunned. Waking from the stun. You're done. The fight now over, the sewer is oddly calm again. KK sweeps the space, looking for any clues that it may have left behind. Why would a pack of monsters manifest their evil here? But then he sees it, affixed to one wall of the tunnel. A wooden tag, sometimes called a kifuda. This must be what summoned those things. KK reaches out to the kifuda down and take the kifuda down, but as fingertips approach it, Rinko? God damn it, Rinko! Erika? KK feels a big, quick thump through his chest. When he looks down, he sees someone else's arm stabbing through his chest. It's horrifying. Black smoke rushes out of his body. Looking back, KK sees a man wearing a Hanya mask. You're... As KK comes to realize that this is... he is in the tunnel once again. No, still? He looks at his chest. It's totally fine. No gaping hole. Not even a scratch. Sweating, breathing heavy, his mind races. It was a horrible dream, maybe? A vision? He grips the kifuda in his hand. I won't let him get away with this. Smashes it so hard it falls into pieces. At that moment, KK realizes he's not actually alone. Distracted by his fury, he had missed the approach of someone new. Who's there? Surprised, he spins to face the entity. But before he can raise his other hand... Ah! KK emerges from the tunnel to find Ryota waiting with the rest of the team. You fool! You run into a wall of Kagari and your instinct is to walk deeper into it when you know we're on the way to help? Listen, No, you listen. I'm not done yelling at your stupid ass for making me worry about you. Okay, but all of our instruments at HQ started going wild. We broke basically every traffic law in Tokyo twice to get here as quick as possible. And then we find an open sewer entrance, little Ryota peering down into the dirty tunnel, clearly considering climbing down there despite our best efforts to cover for you and keep him busy. Sure, except... So we take a look for ourselves. It's corruption in all directions. The whole place is absolutely soaking in spirit residue. It's like they're amassing an army beneath our feet. And you go sniffing around alone? It's not... Maybe let her finish. Worst of all, you arrive stinking but unscathed, having been gone just long enough to have me convinced that you're really hurt down there, that I would never see you alive again. The problem with disappearing into a dangerous sewer all alone is that the longer you're gone, after Rinko has asked for you to be cautious, the more time she has to consider the things she's going to shout at you when you return. The things we've been through together. When you're in danger, it's as if I can feel it deep down, but there's nothing I can do. What if you had died? The thought of being haunted by you, of all people, I almost climbed down there to kill you myself. I'm sorry. I should have waited. Don't you dare be nice to me now. I need to calm down. I value your friendship and support. Take that. I didn't hear that. Safely above ground, reunited with his team, KK turns his attention to the original source of all this drama, his young client, Ryota. You were never going to tell me, were you? Sosuke isn't your best friend. He's your dog. He's my dog and my best friend. KK steps back nervously as Sosuke tries to jump into his lap, tail wagging. Oh, calm down. He just wants to be pet. Jeez. Would you have thought that such a tough as Nail's former detective would have such a strong phobia around dogs? Don't have to broadcast it, all right? Don't be scared. Sosuke loves everyone. Maybe he should draw that line at loving monsters and following them into sewers? Ryota hugs his dog and gets a face full of licks in response. KK relaxes slightly, seeing how harmless this little dog is, but still keeps some distance. Thank you so much for bringing him home safely, Mr. KK. Mr. KK, what an adorable alias. When exactly did you start going by the new short nickname KK? I suppose it has a fun ring to it. Not quite as formal as your full name, Before we get too sidetracked, as the lead investigator on this one, you've got some paperwork to do, KK. Not sure what's worse, fighting monsters or filing out all these damn forms. It's obvious you prefer fighting to paperwork. KK scribbles out a few quick lines, only Ed can read them. Hey kid, this is for you. Oh, it's a prize for helping you find that ghost? Almost. It's the bill. Ryota's face sinks as he's left holding the check. Lucky for you, today's work is pro bono. That means free. Consider this your receipt. I'm feeling generous right now. Ryota looks closely at the paper in his hand. It says, "The case of the cursed manhole. Extermination complete. KK." Leaning in over his shoulder, Rinko lets out an uncharacteristically loud burst of laughter. Now I get it. You didn't choose the nickname KK. Sloppy paperwork chose it for you. There's a lot in this life that we don't get to choose. Call me when you like. Not like I've got any other use for a real... Call me what you like. Not like I've got any use for a real name these days, and definitely not one of my old names. It doesn't matter what anyone calls me so long as I find that bastard. KK's gaze looks fierce, as though he's recalling a bitter past. Reflected in his eyes and Ryota, who looks pleased to have received KK's autograph. KK's expression softens up in response. That said, I guess KK's not so bad. Okay, guys, that was Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude. I wanted to do that. It looked really fun. It's also giving us a little bit of backstory for Ghostwire Tokyo, which we will be playing as soon as it releases on the 25th, March 25th. If you guys like the video, slap the like button. If you want to see the other videos in this series and the other series we have on the channel, hit that subscribe button and a little bell icon so you know when we come out with new content. And for all things GreyGhost Plays, we have links to Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and now Patreon for, support with benefits. And above all else, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.